Welcome to T.Bird Live, the talk show that covers the latest topics, trends, education, and discussion in the worlds of business and technology. Now, here are your hosts, Trina and Rick Byrd.
Good evening and welcome to T.Byrdlive. I'm your host, Trina Byrd.
I'm your co-host, Rick Byrd. How is
You?
everybody? Everybody okay?
Yeah,
Oh man,
we're trying to hang in there.
We're still grinding, bro. Doing our thing. Trying to get it right.
All right.
So what's today's topic? Today's
topic is going to be about landlords and how to get great tenants using technology. We also have a great giveaway. There's a PDF ebook that I found on the internet by the company that we're talking about, Technology and Landlords. It was a free guide for renting your house. So we're going to be giving that away. Anyone that's interested in getting a copy can go to our website at tbyrdlive.com, click on the contacts page, and in the subject area, put the keyword landlords, and we will definitely send you out a copy of this very informational ebook. And we will also be discussing, Rick will be, landlord tech tips. You got some exciting pieces of technology that landlords need to have installed in the home or apartment that they're about to rent. So without further ado.
And now you figure out like what made us have this topic. We're about to become landlords. So as usual, we do our research. We find out what's like the latest trends out there, so we can get things moving, get things going, and make it a lot user friendly for everyone. And we want to share that with you today.
Absolutely. As you can see, what we displayed is a good tenant and a bad tenant. So
now, which one is a good tenant?
If you look at this one here, you'll see that's a bad tenant. You got that little hole in the wall. You got the little pillow all messed up. The dog is eating up the sofa. You know, that's a nightmare. Definitely a nightmare. Whereas the great tenants over here, in illustration, it's really cool. Everything's nice and clean. So what we're going to talk about today is how to get those great tenants using technology. And there is a new app that's out that's called, actually I don't think it's new. It's actually been around for a while. We actually just found out.
We haven't used it.
Right. Rick was just saying to you guys that we are renting out our home, and we did some research to find out what would be the best move to make in terms of getting the credit report, the background check, and then an eviction report. Not even realizing that there was such a thing called the eviction report. However, I called my attorney, and he said he'll draw up the lease, he'll take care of all that, but he doesn't do anything in reference to the background checks and all that. That was on our own. So that's where we started our research. And so we're bringing to you, as we will always do with our show, information that's beneficial to you as a business owner and everyday individual when it comes to technology and business. And so I ran across this TransUnion Smart Move app. It's an app as well as a web page, so you can actually use it on your smart device or right from your computer. And what it is a program that's twofold. It actually benefits the landlords as well as the renters. So from the landlord's perspective, it will get you some great reports so that you can pick great tenants. And this is what it offers. So the first thing here is credit reports, criminal background checks, and what they call eviction records. So that's all cool. As you may know, TransUnion is a credit reporting agency. And so it's just smart that they would put together a program like this, because primarily, historically, in order for you to get these kinds of background checks and eviction records and all that, you had to go to a licensed realtor.
Right, you had to go to a realtor.
They were the only ones authorized.
Right.
Well, now you don't have to spend that money. You can do it all yourself using this app. And what is really, really cool about this app is that it is totally free for the landlord. And that's the part I'm excited about. Now, in terms of the renter, It's a really cool thing. They do pay for the credit report to be done, as well as the criminal background and the eviction records. That just costs $35. And you can opt out to where you actually transfer that expense over to the renter, or you can opt in and pay for it yourself. But what's really cool is that if the renter does it, they will get their credit score. They'll get all the information that is being screened for them by you. They'll get a copy of that report. So they will definitely know all the information that you receive, because they're the ones purchasing it. So it's twofold for them as well. They not only get to, apply to go get the approval from you to rent your property, but they also get the detail of what is being given to landlords that they may submit for.
So that'll give them a chance to clean up their act before, like the final submittal, huh?
Exactly. And here's a sample of those kinds of reports. Take a look at the credit report. Here you're gonna, they're gonna detail the employment, of course, your information in terms of a name and address, but it also gives you any kind of fraud indicators, the profile summary, and more importantly, a detailed list of your history of your credit, how much debt you have, and detail about that. So it's really, beneficial to you as the landlord to know exactly what kind of credit these people have and how they pay, which would be a strong indicator, of course, on how they would pay their rent.
Do you want them to be a tenant in that?
Another report is the criminal report, and then they have the evictions report. Now, the eviction report is going to give you results of evictions that go back 10, 15 years. So you may want to know that information. You could have a person that has an eviction report, but also has an outstanding credit report because they cleaned up their credit and they're back on the track of doing and paying their bills on time. However, the history of a person, you still want to be educated on when you're renting to someone, and definitely you want the the criminal report.
Right, and not only that, a lot of people out there, they make a career of jumping from eviction to eviction, and you don't want to get caught up in that pitfall.
Exactly. So using the Smart Move app is really cool. You can go right to the website, and we're going to go ahead and click on we got to get out of this pen mode and go back to our mouse mode, and we're going to click on the actual internet website page, and it's going to take you actually to our login page. And here you can set up a free account. It's real simple. All you do is put in your email address and a password. Now, if you're a landlord that has multiple locations, I would suggest that you use your business email address. And differently from what we've done,
Something professional, right?
Yeah, we just have our one place that we're trying to rent. So I went ahead and put in my own personal email address. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And once I sign in, I go directly to my dashboard. Now your dashboard's got all these great features here. So first is going to be the dashboard where it'll give you a history log of what you've done. As you can see here, we have just set up this account yesterday in lieu of getting it ready for, actually this show will air in June. So we actually set it up May 30th. And it'll give us a history of the things that we've done while logging into our dashboard. Now, it's real real simple to actually operate. The first thing you do is you start the application. And actually, the second thing you do is start the application. The first thing you want to do is add the property. And that's exactly what I've done. Let's just go back in to add the property. And you'll see all the fields that I've already filled out. And then once we do the application, you'll get to see where that information is retained there. So we're talking about one property. However, if you had multiple properties, they would be listed here. And this is the actual address, the amount of the rent that we want to obtain from the actual tenant, and what the deposit is. You can also go ahead here and give them the length of the lease. So what the terms are. So we're going to go ahead and select 12 months. Now this is the really cool part. You click on applicant email, and we're just going to use Rick for an example. We'll put in his email address, and you obtain the customer or the client's email address, or potential tenant, I should say, their email address, and anyone else that's going to be staying in the home. So you would put in the initial applicant, the joint applicant, and maybe a co-signer's email address. And once you do that, let's go ahead and move that up. Then you can scroll down and simply select here, which is really cool, who is going to pay for these reports. So you can click on renter, and that will allow the renter to view their criminal report, their credit recommendations, and also their eviction report. This is what I was pointing out that's really, really cool, because when you pay for the report as a renter, you get access to those reports. So you can, get all the detailed information that the landlords are getting, so that you can, fix and clear up the problems that you may be having in terms of trying to get, approval to rent a property. And so that's why you really want to pay that $35 as a tenant. And that's why you really want, as a landlord, to pass that expense on to the tenant, so that you're not only helping them and saving yourself $1, you're also helping them so that they can get those reports as well. It's a twofold
scenario, right?
So
I'll follow you.
You get it as a tenant, they get it as a tenant, and you get it as a landlord. Or if you definitely want to keep it where the expense is on your end, you would go ahead and click this button here, and you pay for the services. Once you do that, you click on save, and an email verification will come up and give you the detail about the property. And then this is the email applicant. You click OK, and then an email will be sent to that person notifying them that the application is there for them to complete and fill out.
You showed me some unique features with this, and this is why you selected this, because what they do is they do reminders.
Oh no, that's the other app we're going to be talking about.
Other
this is straight up to do the application process, and that's it.
Strictly business.
What happened is, once we selected the email address and we put in all the property information, then it's going to send a request to that email address, as you can see here.
Right.
And
let me see if I can pull it up.
You pull it up, and then what you're going to do is fill out the actual application, and that's the rental application. So let's go ahead and view a detailed application. See if we can bring that up. Actually, we can't, because once you actually fill it out, then you'll hit submit, and then I'll get it on my end under this account, and then I'll be able to, after it's completed, and then I can get to view it. Okay. So, and if for some reason, if the tenant doesn't get the request, then you can actually resend it again, and the job is done. Now, once you get the request, and it's all completed, and you receive it back, along with it, you're going to get a recommendation report from TransUnion Smart Move, telling you whether or not they recommend this person as a good tenant or not.
For the thing.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So it's really, really, really cool. Now, in addition to that, it also allows you to go in here and take advantage of some tools for landlords. So once you review the report, you can go here and click on the sample acceptance letter, and you can download this template and of course put your letterhead on, modify some more detail that you would like to have in the acceptance letter, and be detailed in the acceptance letter. Now, don't get the acceptance letter mixed up with the lease. The acceptance letter is like a meeting of the minds. Okay, this is what you're going to be paying. This is, your criteria. And if they agree and accept the acceptance letter, then go and draw up the lease, because the lease costs money. Now, you don't always have to go to an attorney to get access to that. You can actually, Google and we're going to go ahead and do it. You can go to Google and you can put in sample lease agreement, okay, for state of New Jersey. So you can put in your state, and you'll be able to get some sample leases that are available and recommended in your the state that you live in. So therefore, you'll be able to get the right language, legal language, that needs to be in there. And look at what we found, a PDF filler. So you don't even have to do much. You can just click on there and then go start right away. This service is
PDF file.
Yeah, that PDF Adobe Flash Player in there to actually use it. But
right, because you have to download it.
Yeah, you could actually go in there and do the lease yourself. But I kind of recommend that you use an attorney. That way, there's no loopholes. You've covered everything with your attorney, and if something goes wrong, you can say, look, you're my attorney. You made a mistake. You got to represent me at no charge to fix this problem.
But like a lot of people don't know what like a lease is. A lease is a contractual arrangement calling for the leasee or the user to pay the leaser, which is the owner, for the use of the assets, whether it be property, building, or vehicle, has a common access to lease the business equipment or anything you might have with like $1 or cents amount.
Exactly. Also, it'll give you a sample decline letter, so you don't have to really come up with all these extra things. It's all right in this TransUnion Smart Move web app, and it's all there for absolutely free. There's no charge for this. They make their money on the back end when the tenant actually fills out the application and pays that $35 to get the credit check and all that done. There's also a adverse action letter. This is another sample letter that they have. So if you've got some information that needs to be spelled out to the tenant, you can use this sample. Unable to verify employment, length of residence, whatever the situation may be, you would just take this sample letter and actually modify it to fit your needs.
Right. So
they give you all the language that you need to put into that adverse action letter. Now, the next step is, once they're approved, you do the lease, all that. Now it's time to collect the rent, and that's what you were talking about, Rick. There is a TransUnion is an area in the feature in the TransUnion Smart Move app that will allow you to collect the rent. And we're just going to click on this real quickly, and it gives you a lot of good information that you can read about when it comes to the rent payment, making sure that it's secure, the method of payment, whether it be an e-check or a credit card. You can simply click on that link there and sign up. If you're an individual and you only have one property, you're the owner. Or if you have several properties, you can select the business feature. And here you would go in and put in all your professional information that you need in order to set up an account so that the money is automatically transferred and paid online into that account, which I think is really cool. Now, there is another program that I want to feature before we run out of time, because we want to definitely get Rick's segment in. It's called eRent Payment.com, and I actually put it in the PowerPoint presentation, and this is what it is. It actually is a property management solution so that you don't have to worry about putting in your, going to pick up a check or going somewhere to meet a person to get a check or having checks bounced, that kind of thing. So what we're going to do is go right to this eRent. I don't know why it's not working. Tell you technology sometimes. Here we go, eRentPayment.com. And here you can actually take advantage of a lot of the features. Now this is the program that will allow you to have your tenants set up their account, and it is not free. It costs $3. So you can actually charge your tenant $1.50, right? And you pay $1.50, or you could pay the entire $3, and they could pay the entire $3. So the pricing is very affordable. The standard is $3. Now, of course, if you have more than 5 transactions per month, you can go with the $10 a month. But you can also set up recurring payments. And if that's set up where they don't go in manually and do it every month, recurring payments is just $2 a week or a month to actually do the recurring payments. But this is really cool because it allows you to do payments online, and you can even customize it for late fees. It'll send out those reminders as what the question you asked. And it also does credit reporting, so that as your tenant gets approved every 30 or 90 days, you can monitor their credit reporting so that you can see if they're falling behind in some other bills that may be a red flag that they may be going towards falling behind in terms of the rent. And you can also do things where you can track your expenses, use it from a landlord's perspective, because it is a property management. But just to get the rent payments, you can just use that one feature, and it's really cool because you don't have to worry about the payments. It'll clear in your account within 5 days, and you pretty much don't have to worry about the drama or anything else that goes along with it. And again, this is basically a free app, but there is a processing fee of $3.
Is that annually initial, or how does that work?
I just showed you that's a month.
Like 10 a month?
No, yep,
Okay.
yep.
Well, it seems like what you showed me through like both programs, a lot of like both are definitely user friendly.
They definitely are.
Yeah.
So that does it for our landlord segment in terms of the apps. Now Rick's going to talk real quickly because we've got about 8 minutes left in this segment. Talk about the security access system.
Well, what I want to do, and like the Rick's tech tips, I want to more or less of the week. I'll give you security access tips. First of all, to protect your property, protect yourself. Purchase a system where the tenant can have a code and you can have a code. Like both like you or the tenant will not know each other's code, but you can override with a master code. That's my suggestion. You can also delete the code when like the lease is up, like somebody else might be moving in, and make sure it's equipped with like the system has a built-in fire alarm if you want to get that package, and that's included again for your protection. And make sure you pay your bill to keep control. This is a very key aspect of it, which goes into a lot of like security. I do have a few things here that I want to show you. 7 segments. You should invest in a
well, before you go into the segments, Rick, you want to talk about the Simply Safe.
Simply Safe.
Yeah, that's a
okay. Well, that's your thing. But like Simply Safe, you can go to Simply Safe Wireless, like .com. They have like the Simply Safe packages for your home, your do-it-yourself, from the range of $229 to $600. They are highly recommended for a landlord-tenant segment.
Definitely. So, can you give us a couple of those tips?
Okay.
I know the first one was really
right here.
That first one was really cool.
Let me see if I can bring it up. Here we go. I didn't have it in it. Smart locks. Invest in a smart lock. Smart locks are usually quite convenient. They're like affordable. You can in fact.
That was a good idea.
You can in fact unlock the front door remotely or with a mobile app. You can do a lot of good things electronically.
Is that more for like the realtor, or I know once
that's more or less for both.
Once the tenant moves in, they actually do you actually turn over the control to them? Or
yes, you would.
You would turn the control over to them?
Yes, you would. But again, you have the master code to override their code in case you want to sneak back in, spend a couple nights or something, like what have you. You don't want to do that. Another smart thing is to invest in a smart thermostat. Now, these thermostats are controllable by smartphones or wherever you are. You can actually learn like the basic frequency settings and like adapt the temperatures to your behavior, and it will automatically conserve energy. That's a key factor too.
Now, was that a cool thing to do because of the fact that so you have some tenants that may go away on vacation and or they're about to move out and they, leave the heat on, or they turn it off in the wintertime because they had to be evicted,
right, like your
or all
pipes
that.
might freeze, anything
Right,
of that nature.
So that's more in line with a tenant that's about to move out, because you wouldn't want to. I mean, you that's an incentive for the people to want to rent your property, because you do have that, and so the control goes over to them in terms of them being able to monitor their own heat and air conditioning unit. But what you're really saying is that it's a good tool for when the tenant is vacating the premises. You can still control, so that you don't have to be there to turn it on if it's getting cold, or turn it off if it's getting hot, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like for our
particular. But like a lot of things too, as being a landlord, I've been through this before, and you've been through it before. I look at everybody's moving out, because you never can tell. But,
all right.
But like the second time, like what I want to tell you now is the invest in a security system. This will protect you, and not only you and your tenant. You need to have like some type of security, and that's goes back to what you were saying.
Okay, all right. We got about 3 minutes left in the show. Let's do our Mr. T's Foodie Twist. Brought to you by
let's do it.
Mr. T's Restaurant. Now, if you're looking at this picture, I know you are getting very, very hungry.
That looks familiar.
Yeah, it does. I think you made that, Ricky. It is summertime. We're going to be eating a lot of salads, and we wanted to give you a great recipe. We're going to start to film these recipes. As we make these recipes, we're going to start to film them. We invested in a nice camera so we can film Rick, Mr. T, as he's creating these recipes. And this way he'll be able to show you, not only tell you, but also show you how to actually make these lovely dishes that he's good at doing. So let's just quickly go over the ingredients. You're going to definitely, get your preference of lettuce or a spring mix. We happen to like spring mix better, because that and romaine lettuce, that really, regular lettuce is
really
just,
roll with me, right?
It kind of like doesn't do good with us. But we usually try to do the spring mix, and we try to mix.
We do a mixture.
The spinach and some romaine lettuce. So if you get all three of them together, it makes for a good combination.
And a lot of things in like the summertime, we like to get a lot of seafood.
Seafood in, yeah.
Such as shrimp, scallops.
Oh, this morning Rick
onions.
made these lobster eggs. What was in those eggs, Rick?
They were a little bit of lobster left over from last night, and I put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it to enhance. And
some onions, yeah.
It was very little
we
onions.
I like to have them
plenty of garlic.
Yeah, they were good. They were excellent.
Okay.
They were really good.
And if you look like below, like the ingredients that you use during the summer, a lot of garlic, a lot of ginger, a lot of olive oil, and like your base seasoning seems to be wrapping around everywhere.
Yeah, and I make my own. I can't give you that recipe, but you can use your own base seasoning. Google it and come up with what works best for you, because most people like to stay away from salt, and the traditional base seasoning that you get in the store is very salty. Roast up. So let me tell you real quick how to do it. We only got a minute left in this show. You saute your seafood in a little bit of olive oil, put a little bit of garlic, a little bit of ginger, and the seasoning, the base seasoning in there, and saute that, and just chop up your onions and your lettuce or your spring mix. Dump the peppers and the seafood on top, and then you want to make your homemade raspberry vinaigrette dressing. And I'm going to tell you in a couple of seconds how you make homemade raspberry vinaigrette dressing. So easy. All you do is get a good quality jar of good raspberry jam or jelly.
A preservative.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. And you take a couple teaspoons of that, put it in your whatever you make your salad dressing in, and then you add some apple cider vinegar, which is really good for you. And add the jelly and a little bit of olive oil, and just shake. And I have to tell you that dressing comes out so good. And putting it with the seafood and that spring mix, it's a hearty, delicious meal. Very good. All right, Rick, we got 19 seconds.
Oh, you'll give me 19 seconds. Okay, now that we set the ground rules for like being a landlord before you Do like
seven,
your research.
6,
5, 4,